Hello and welcome everybody. This is lesson 27 of Learn New Testament Greek. We begin a three-part series on John chapter 2. The previous three lessons were in John chapter 3, the incident where Nicodemus came to Jesus and Jesus talked about being born again or born from above. Now we move back to chapter 2. This is the incident of the wedding in Cana in Galilee where the wine ran out and Jesus performed his first miracle. So here it is, John chapter 2 verse 1. Kai te hemera te trite, gamos egenetor in Cana tes Galileas. So, and te hemera te trite, that's dative, so it means at or on the day the third. So this is a normal way to do it in Greek. When the adjective follows the noun, you repeat the article the. So it says the day, the third day. Just an interesting little point about this. This is what is called inclusive counting. If I say to you, come in 3 days, and today is Saturday, you'll probably count Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so I'll come on Tuesday. That's the way we normally count today, but this is inclusive counting. So today is Saturday, come in 3 days, you count Saturday 1, Sunday 2, Monday 3. And so this is the third day. I think one of the modern English translations actually says 2 days later because it's inclusive counting. And this is how we get that Jesus rose on the third day when he was crucified on a Friday and he rose to life again on the Sunday. So the third day, because Friday is 1, Saturday is 2, and Sunday is 3. Okay, so gamos meaning wedding, as in monogamy. That's one English word that we get from it, monogamy. Egenetor, it happened. It's quite common in Bible Greek for sentences to begin with kai egenetor, and this was translated in the Old King James Bible, and it came to pass. So, but here we've got these words in the middle. So it's saying, and it happened, we might translate it, it happened. So this word, egenetor, we've met it quite a few times in other chapters of John's Gospel. So it can mean become, or just be, or happen. So we might even say there happened to be a wedding in Cana of Galilee. So this is the name of the town and this is the name of the district. So some modern translations say Galilean Cana. Apparently there was another Cana some distance away, so it had to be distinguished. This is the genitive, so it, by first approximation, it says Cana of Galilee, but we might say Cana in Galilee or Galilean Cana. Kai he meter tu Jesu eke. Kai and ein was, he meter. So this is mother, as in matriarch. So that's ach meaning rule and matri meaning mother, the matriarch. Tu Jesu eke, she was there. An ancient document says that Mary was the sister of one of the bridegroom's parents. In a small town like that, there would have been a lot of interrelationships between people at the feast. Verse 2, Ecclesi de kai ho Jesus kai hoi mathetai autu es ton gamon. So you notice here the N ending, we had gamos, and the S means it's the subject, or what in grammatical terms is called the nominative. Here it's N, the N, which in grammatical terms is called the accusative, or indicating the object part of it. This in grammatical terms is called the nominative. And so, but here we're using the accusative because it follows the preposition es. So here es is meaning to the wedding, just the same as in English we don't say to he, we say to him. We put it into the accusative or object case in English there in that case. Okay, so going back to the beginning, eklese was called, he was called. The e indicates the past tense, which technically in Greek is called the aorist, and the theta is characteristic of passive. So passive, he was invited. That's the passive. Der, a little word that always comes second in the sentence. We might just translate it and he was called or invited. Kai ho Jesus kai hoi mathetai autu. First notice that the verb just agrees with the Jesus, not the and the disciples, just he was called, Jesus and his disciples. Actually, notice the two kais. There are two possible meanings of this. This one could mean also. First possibility is that this could mean also. Jesus was also invited and his disciples. Or it could mean both. When you use kai followed by kai, it could mean both and. Both Jesus and his disciples were invited. But probably in this case, it means also. Jesus was also invited, and his disciples. So this is mathetai, disciples. This means it comes from a Greek root meaning learn, so his learners. We actually get the word mathematics from it, but it's the word used for disciples. His disciples, eis ten gamon. Verse 3, kai hustere santos oinu lege hemeter tu Jesu pros auton oinon uk echusin. So here, beginning the sentence again with the characteristic kai and hustere santos. So this means having run out. Oinu comes from a root oinos, wine. So the wine having run out. And these two different endings, but they both indicate genitive, two different forms of the genitive ending. And this is a special use of the genitive. The first approximation meaning for the genitive is just of, well, it doesn't make much sense here, where here in fact it's called the genitive absolute. It's called the genitive absolute, and it's used to just put in a part of the sentence that doesn't actually immediately relate to the rest of the sentence. It's background for what's to come. So this is characteristic. It's fairly good literary style, and it's found in quite a few places in the New Testament. The wine having run out, we could say, or we could, perhaps more natural in English to say, well, or when the wine ran out, or even we could say, then the wine ran out. lege, so this is says, and this is the present tense. Now, in this whole little passage that we're looking at here, this word lege occurs quite a few times, and it's always in the present. So it's, I think we've talked about this in previous lessons, it's a fairly informal English, Greek, and well, it's actually very informal in English, but we do say it like, I went inside and he says to me, why did you blah blah blah. So it's, some commentators say it makes it a bit more vivid, or otherwise it's just part of his informal style. But in previous dialogues that we've looked at, for example the one between Jesus and Nathaniel in the last few verses of chapter 1, John varies between lege present and apen past, but here it's just lege the present all the way through. So there's an interesting question: is it just a matter of style, or does it have some meaning? It's hard to say with any strong certainty, but it's certainly part of his informal style. Notice that it says pros auton, and so this is pros auton, to him, and again because of the pros we get the accusative ending here, just the same as we had up here with ace. Ace cause the ending to become accusative, and pros does the same thing. But in all the rest of the dialogue it's done with a different form. It just goes auto, which is the dative, meaning to him. But only in this first one here does it say pros auton. So again we have the interesting question, is there a difference intended? One commentator calls this one a little bit more formal and respectful. But in Matthew's Gospel, for example, he always just uses the dative like this. So perhaps it's really just a matter of style. But in this particular dialogue, in chapter 2, verses 1 to 11 of John's Gospel, it's interesting that it's attached to what Mary says to Jesus, but to nothing else said by anyone. So perhaps it's true that it's a little bit, maybe it's indicating that Mary spoke to Jesus in a little bit more respectful sort of way. That's possible. Okay, and she said, oinon uk echusin. So notice the the form of this is normally u, but when a vowel follows, we put on the uk just to make them run together a little bit better. Uk ekusin rather than u ekusin. They do not have, is what this says. And interestingly, the object is put first, which is a little bit unusual. The normal order would be verb and then object, but here the object is put first. So that's obviously giving it some sort of stress or prominence. It's not contrastive emphasis like in English. Wine, they don't have any wine, which would mean you're talking about wine and not bread or something like that. But it's just like we might say they've run out of wine, putting stress on the run and the wine. Now this was in terms of the hospitality obligations in this culture, this was a big issue, a big shame for them, and so they are in a real fix. So Mary comes to Jesus and says something to him, which, here's an interesting question: what was she expecting him to do? that she came to him and said it? An interesting question. And in the next lesson we'll see how Jesus replies and what Jesus does do.